world we see isn't the world as it is, but only the world as we've been taught to see it. And if that's true, how much are we not seeing? Imagine for a moment that every child was given a pair of glasses at birth. And these glasses, they aren't just tinted different colors. They filter everything we see, shaping our view of the world around us. Over time, we forget that we're wearing them. And just like us, everyone else is wearing their glasses too. But here's the twist. Someone wearing a different pair of glasses isn't just seeing the world in a different color. They can see things that we simply do not see. What's visible to them completely goes unnoticed by us. We're all looking at the same scene, but our realities are very different, and it's because of the glasses that we're wearing. It isn't until we become aware of the glasses that the real shift happens. When we change the glasses that we're wearing, we can see things in ways that we never have before. And those glasses represent our belief systems. As a child, growing up in an abusive home, I formed dozens of limiting beliefs that distorted how I saw myself and the world around me. It took me many, many years to finally break free from those prison, that chain that I created for myself. But what began as a journey of trying to escape who I thought I was, it eventually led me back to rediscovering who my most authentic self is. And that journey also taught me that everything that I was searching for out there was actually right here inside me all along. The peace, the happiness, the joy, the acceptance, the feeling valued, all of it was right here. For over a decade, I had the pleasure of speaking with thousands of individuals worldwide, teaching them how to break free from their own mental prisons. And this allowed me to clearly see the thoughts and the beliefs that are responsible for creating the distortion in our perception. And after listening to so many different stories, there was one thing in particular that really stood out to me. Despite having different backgrounds, different beliefs, different cultures, different childhoods, nearly everyone still formed the same destructive thought patterns. The key difference was where those patterns created problems in their lives, whether it was in their relationships or self-image or career or their health. And over time, I recognized that there were 5 thought patterns in particular that came up most regularly and that I found to be the most destructive in our lives. Number 1, giving our power away. It's allowing others to influence how we feel, what we think, and how we respond. Number 2, self-doubt and being hypercritical. It's never feeling like we're enough and always feeling like we need to do more or be more or achieve more in order to fill that void that we feel inside. Number 3, it's negative thinking. Thinking about all of the worst case scenarios and all of the potential problems that could happen, but never really do. And number 4 is avoiding our negative emotions. We find lots of ways to distract ourselves from feeling the pain of those negative emotions instead of confronting and resolving the real cause of why those emotions are there. And then number 5, it's the I'll be happy when. It's never present in the moment, always focused on some sort of future event that we expect to bring more happiness than what we have right now. Now, each of these 5 thought patterns can be a talk in and of themselves, but they all stem from our core beliefs. Nothing shapes the course of our lives more than what we believe about ourselves and the world around us. Our beliefs are what we use to bring meaning and define everything in our reality. For instance, if I were to tell you that I've been vegan for the past 12 years, each of you are now filtering that through your own belief systems. And you're coming to your own conclusions about what that says about me. So even though being vegan has just one definition, what it means to you depends on your own belief systems. When we continuously follow the same mental paths, we keep arriving at the same conclusions. We keep making the same decisions and taking the same actions. And we find ourselves in a self-perpetuated cycle. Here's an example of one. Let's say that I believed that my worth was tied to my productivity. I would use my unconscious thought patterns that say, well, if I'm not being productive, then that means that I'm not worthy. And so I would then try to fill my entire day with as much activity as I possibly could until I finally hit a wall and I feel so burnt out and so overwhelmed and so unsatisfied. And then I come to the conclusion, well, I feel unsatisfied because I haven't done enough. And if I just do a little bit more, then I'll feel better. The way that we break free from this cycle is first, we must become aware of it. Often we become aware of the problem and the pain, but we fail to recognize the true cause of that pain, being the beliefs and the thought patterns behind it. But the question is, where do these thought patterns come from? I kept asking myself, how is it that people from all around the world with completely different backgrounds can all still form many of the same destructive thought patterns? And then it finally hit me one day. I was sitting in the front seat of our car and I was flipping through the instruction manual. And I was trying to figure out why we kept getting the same error message. And in that moment, I realized that we're doing the same exact thing with our mind. We keep using the same mental paths and expecting to arrive at a different result. The problem is, the mind doesn't come with an instruction manual. And so we keep repeating these patterns over and over again because we haven't been taught to recognize or to change the glasses that we're wearing. And so generation after generation, we pass these thought patterns on by default, not because it's the only way, but because it's the only way we know of. It's like being handed an advanced computer and then only using it as a typewriter. And then generation after generation, we keep using it in the same way. And it's because we never realized and we're completely unaware that the computer, like our minds, are capable of so much more. The mind is the most powerful tool that we have. But like most tools, the results that we get from it depend on how we use it. So the mind can either become our greatest obstacle or it can become our greatest strength. Whether we choose to consciously and deliberately program our mind with beliefs that support us, or we allow our environment and surroundings to do it for us, either way, the mind will become programmed. And those mental programs become like our default operating system that we use to interpret and interact with life. Imagine if children grew up knowing how to become the programmer of their own mind. If they understood how their thoughts, their beliefs, their patterns, and their emotions all worked together to shape their experiences from the inside out. This was my aha moment. As a mom of 4 boys, I realized then what was missing. The issue isn't what children are learning. The issue is what they're not learning. And so as I searched for ways to teach this to my own children, I realized there's a massive information gap. There's plenty of material on meditations and affirmations and visualizations, which can be really powerful tools if they're used correctly. But without the understanding of how and why they work, then we're missing the full picture. It's like handing a child a calculator without teaching them math first. The tools become far less effective without the deeper understanding of what's causing those issues and those problems. And it's the thoughts and the beliefs that are at the source. From my experience, that's where mastering the mind comes in. Mastering the mind means that we become the conscious observer and programmer of our mind. We learn to take inventory of our belief systems, and we use the mind as a tool to shape our experiences. But without this awareness, the mind becomes our master, and we become stuck in these unconscious patterns and these cycles, and we unknowingly create our own obstacles. Without learning to master our mind, how can we possibly make the most of anything else that we're learning if we haven't even learned how to get out of our own way? That's why mastering the mind is the essential foundation for all other learning. And right now, it's currently missing from our children's education. And I realized if I wanted my children to learn this, then I would have to find a way to teach them myself. So I began by asking if I could go back in time, what beliefs, what mindset, what knowledge would I want to teach to my younger self? One of the most common struggles that we face is giving our power away. So I made it a point to teach our boys that no one can control how you feel or how you respond unless you allow it. You can't control what other people do, but you can control what happens in you. So I remember one of the earlier memories of our children being able to actually apply this in real life, not just theoretical. I overheard two of our sons, and they were arguing in the next room about something. And our younger one was getting upset. And then I hear our second son from another room, and he shouts, "Hudson, don't give Mason your power. He doesn't have that power unless you let him." And Hudson, it just clicked for him, and he stood up and he marched out and he walked past my room, and I said, "Hey, buddy, everything okay?" And he says, "Yep, I'm taking my power back." And he just marched on. And from that moment, I knew they're using it. It's not just a theory, it's something that they're able to apply in real life. I've found that the earlier that we can begin teaching these concepts to children, that they are the master of their minds, the better. We often learn our ABCs and our 1, 2, 3s in kindergarten, but we also must learn what I like to call the ABCs of mind mastery: awareness, beliefs, and consciousness. And we need to break these down into little bite-sized pieces so that they can start to incorporate them. I've found that teaching these initial concepts through fun and engaging stories that are age-appropriate are the best ways to introduce it, and then we can build upon those concepts over time. Just like our core subjects, we have those in school consistently, year after year. And it's the same with mind mastery. This is something that needs to be taught consistently in order to have a positive and strong impact in their lives. The goal isn't to remove all of life's challenges for them. We couldn't if we tried. The goal is to equip children with the mindset and the skills and the knowledge necessary so that they can overcome whatever challenges come their way. Because ultimately, our greatest challenges don't come from external circumstances. They come from how we perceive and respond to those external circumstances. We can either continue to pass down these same struggles generation after generation, or we can finally break the cycle. My journey led me to my passion, which has become my mission. But this isn't my mission alone. It's one that I share with other parents, with teachers, with schools, with visionaries and policymakers everywhere, because real change requires many voices. So I'm here to start the conversation. Alone, I'm just one voice, but together, I believe we can move mountains. By working together, we can transform how children everywhere are able to harness and understand the power of their mind, empowering the next generation to build a world where their minds are no longer their greatest obstacles, but become their greatest strengths. Now that's an idea worth sharing.